오늘 바쁘신 가운데 이렇게 귀한 걸음 해주신 여러분께 정말 진심으로 감사의 말씀드립니다. 오늘 행사는 저희 한국외교부 산하 사단법인 한국국제문화우호협회에서 개최하는 제1회 국제청소년문화학술 발표회입니다. 이번 행사는 앞으로 한국과 관련되어 있는 많은 국가에서 한국으로 여러 청소년들이 유학도 오고 또 관심을 많이 갖고 있는 상황에서 각국 간의 청소년들 사이에 어떤 문화교류를 저희가 적극적으로 추진하고자 하는 취지에서 본 행사를 기획하게 됐습니다. 이번 행사는 원래 저희가 작년부터 준비를 했었는데 코로나로 인해서 계속 좀 연기가 돼서 좀 상황을 보고 좀 더 큰 규모로 진행하려고 계속 상황을 보다가 여의치 않아서 일단 이렇게 좀 작은 규모로 학교 관계자분들과 여기 학생들 모시고 이렇게 행사를 진행하게 됐습니다. 다시 한번 어려운 걸음 해주신 여러분들께 다시 한번 진심으로 감사드리고요. 오늘 발표를 위해서 송육동 학생과 최한 학생 정말 오랜 시간 준비를 했는데 준비한 만큼 다 발표를 잘 할 수 있으리라 믿고 뜨거운 격려와 관심 부탁드리겠습니다. 감사합니다.
입니다. 우리 두 학생이 중간고사를 5월달에 마치고 그 다음에 논문을 작성을 하기 시작했어요. 그리고 논문 작성하는 과정에서 저와 같이 상의도 하고 그래서 논문을 마치고 실제로 이제 이렇게 발표 연습한 거는 지난 수요일부터 했습니다. 그러니까 5일 정도밖에 되지 않아요. 그래서 시간도 없고 3학년이고 해서 토요일날 어떨 때는 토요일날 오후에 하고 또 일요일날도 오후 2시에 잠깐 하고 그리고 어떨 때는 새벽에도 왜냐하면 학생들의 시간 맞춰서 미숙할 수 있어요. 그러나 제가 볼 땐 참 잘한다. 저도 한국인 학생들 이런 논문 발표나 이런 거는 꽤 많이 했는데 외국인 하는 건 처음이에요. 그러나 굉장히 참 잘한다는 생각이 들었습니다. 그리고 발전 가능성도 높고 이 학생들의 주제를 잠깐 말씀드리면 공유지의 비극이라는 우리 최한 학생이 발표할 겁니다. 굉장히 수준 있는 인문학 이론이에요. 그래서 그 이론에 대한 설명도 하고 또 중국 학생이기 때문에 중국의 사례도 이렇게 아마 소개를 할 겁니다. 그 다음에 우리 송육동 학생은 행동경제학이라는데 이 경제학은 250년 전에 아담 스미스 이후로 경제학의 계속적인 변화와 발전이 있었는데 지금 최고의 현재의 최고의 경제학은 행동경제학이에요. 뭐냐면 사람의 심리와 경제가 합쳐져서 어떤 소비나 이런 것이 발생한다는 거예요. 그거를 굉장히 아마 쉽게 설명하고 사례를 그다음에 중국에서의 또 일어나는 상황을 설명을 했어요. 그래서 굉장히 현 시점에 두 학생이 굉장히 적절한 논문이 아닌가 생각합니다.
대공고등학교 고등학교 2학년 최원입니다. So what I'm going to tell you guys today is the tragedy of the comet. It's also called the 공유지 비극. So firstly, I'm going to just introduce about the content. And firstly, is an introduction. I will give you guys like in the background of the COVID-19 and what happens the tragedy of the comet. And secondly, I'm going to give 3 examples. And also, after the examples, I'm going to give such solutions of the tragedy comets. There are totally 3. And thirdly, finally, I will give a conclusion. So firstly, introduction in the COVID-19. Domain of comet lens has now expanded to the whole planet. Not only our countries are suffering the COVID-19, but all over the world. So nowadays on the whole planet, the coronavirus has caused the tragedy of the commons and may also lead to a greater tragedy. What is a tragedy? The tragedy of the commons is a theory that public resources anyone can freely to use. Like what? Like maybe toilet paper, or like the road outside, or like the free bike, free bus. It's all the tragedy. So finally, I also going to tell the super important thing that I want to tell is the Confucius, a Chinese philosopher, suggested. So firstly, Jack Harding. This old man is the man that first published the Tragedy of the Commons. And as a biologist, also economist and a philosopher, he described the tragedy of the common in a famous science paper, claiming that the innocent action by individuals can cause to damage the environment. Also, the guy has published a game which is called Harding's Shepherd Game. And we all can see the picture. It's really simple and easy to understand. At the beginning, there are only 3 sheep are eating the grass peacefully. But the second, the amount of sheep was increased, and the grass are being damaged. Finally, and there are really huge thousand or like 100 of the sheep are eating the grasses at the same time. What causes this? It causes the damage of the land. The grass can't grow up again, and also the land are useless. It causes that a lot of farmers want to increase their income and also want to earn more money. So it causes this situation. It's called the tragedy of the commons basic game. Another thing that I mentioned is the public philosophies. We all can see that there has a toilet paper in the toilet. Yeah, so in the public toilet, maybe we are just in a restaurant and we want to go to the toilet. There are free toilet that can be used by everybody. And in this toilet, we can see a very interesting point is that the toilet paper is a resting velocity. It is much faster than the speed used in originally household. This means that toilet paper in rest area is a public good that does not pay for use. It's a good for services that freely to use by everyone. Another 2 examples. This one happens in Korea, and that one happened in Eastern Island. The thing that happened in Eastern Island, the tragedy is really same as the sheep game that I mentioned. A lot of sheep eating a grass together, and the land can be used anymore. Also, COVID-19 vaccine. Nowadays, maybe like there are a group of people love to just take the vaccine just for the whole human beings healthy. There has like research which is that if it is possible, if more than 70% of immunity holders are vaccinated, but now it's over than 70% to 73%, which is mean by that if there are more than 17% of people in the whole over the world are taking the vaccine, the COVID-19 virus will be just killed. Also vaccines. And it is also Korean research. And what I'm going to tell is that if there are, here, it is said that about 0.0003%, which is mean by that there are like, if 10,000 people are taking the vaccine together, there are only maybe 3 of them will get the coronavirus. So in order to prevent danger, people around the world must have mass immunity, which requires vaccination even if everybody is infected. So it's an example in my hometown, Beijing. It's a bicycle sharing. We also have the I also see that Korean we have the bicycle sharing. But you know what? Korean it's like they have a very good regulation or just policy that of the bicycle sharing, and there has a lot of like people are just concentrating to just collecting the bicycles, so it won't cause any tragedy of the commons of the bicycle sharing in Korea. But in my hometown, maybe there it's really huge population. We all know that's China. So a lot of people, it's really hard to regulate. And also the regulate rule was very weak. And people may think about that, oh, I'm a writer, I'm writing a back, and I finish it. I just put it here, anywhere, whatever, it's not my back. So it causes a tragedy of the commons. So I gave a lot of examples, so now I'm going to give 3 solutions of tragedy of the commons. First one is the national solutions. National solutions means that it's really easy to understand is that solutions set by the nation. The government or the controllers just give a series of solutions, a series of regulations to regulate people, or then people won't do something. Just don't, people wouldn't cross the line if the regulation was effective. So it is a great solution, I think. And secondly, is market solutions. It is more sufficient than the first one. It is making the public to the private. Like there has a highway and which belongs to the government. And government won't charge anything that people who hold the people to cross this highway. But if the government sold the highway to the private, private householders such catch this highway, maybe householder thinking is that, oh, I can charging people who crossing these lines, that can increase my income. So people started to charging. And if there has a charging, a road has a charging, everybody may thinking about that, well, it's quite expensive, so I won't just go to this road, I turn on another road. So it can just basically to deal with the tragedy of the commons that maybe example like the traffic or something else. The third one, which is better than first and second, it's called community solutions. It's really easy, like in our school we have the school regulations. It's like that, a group of people here just control themselves or just like watching each other and watching themselves too. Just everybody don't cross that line, don't do that again, or don't do anything that are bad, or crossing the regulation like that. It's also called self-regulation. Okay, so 3 regulations that I all finished. But one more thing that I want to aid it is my opinion. It's about self-sufficient life. We all know that Confucius is really famous until now. A lot of like candidates are researching his like thinking or his book, and also in the university we also have the class to researching his idea. So what is called a self-sufficient life? It's like a active attitude by its term. Philosopher of the Confucius, active attitude. This means maybe it's already summer now. Maybe the weather will be really hot, and we just stay in our home or dormitory, and we just like, oh, the weather is really hot. I really want to turn on the air conditioning, but we can't. Why? It cuts the controlling themselves, controlling myself. Although there's are really hot, but I just don't turn on that because I want to protect the whole world. I want to just protect the air pollution. So that's called the self-sufficient. It is really sufficient more than first and second and third. The third one that I mentioned is from the outside, but it is from the inside. We also say that in Korean, 자기 만족, 자족. So nowadays, why I'm going to do the PPT, why I'm going to just write the whole thing, write the whole essay. And that firstly, I want to tell you guys that how to deal with COVID-19. Just everybody has that thinking. Just everybody is thinking about others. If there are more than 17% of the population has been vaccinated, some people who have not been vaccinated will not get the virus. Another thing I want to mention that which is super important, super significant is here. We learn how active and cognitive life that Western philosophers and Confucians say is self-sufficient. And also make us think that the idea and the basic meaning of protecting common land, how to just deal with the tragedy of commons basically, is here. Everybody catch this thinking, self-sufficient. 자기 만족. 감사합니다.
안녕하세요. 저는 대형외고 3학년 9반 성득대입니다. Today I'm going to talk about the case of study behavioral economics applied to society. A comparative study of Korean and Chinese cases. So first, introduction. It has been about 30 years since a new area of behavioral economics was established. There are two categories of judgments about human behavior. Okay, top left. The main point, which is the theoretical background, definition and the development of behavioral economics. Definition of behavioral economics. Behavioral economics is the study based on economics. Economics is study of rational, calculating, and transferring economic human beings. Okay, look at the picture here. This is which means behavioral economics equals to psychology plus economics. In this picture, this man's name is Daniel Kahneman. Daniel Kahneman is Israel-American psychologist and economist, and he was also awarded the 2002 Nobel Memorial Prize. The film theory. Okay, there's a question here. What do you guys see first in this picture?
cup,
Cup. Yes. Some people might see this white color. There's a cup here, and some people might think there are two people's head here. So this is how the problem is presented, which is the same way as the picture next here. In the first one is the 1% fat yogurt, and the second one is 99% fat-free yogurt. Even though they are the same thing, but the frame theory tells us how the problem is presented. Okay, next one. The sunk cost theory. The sunk cost theory refers to a cost that has already been paid in the past is now irreparable. Then this theory is also called Concord illusion. At great cost was a failed plane. However, development work continued the original gains from the sunk cost effect or sunk cost error. Okay. Let's move to the anchoring trap theory. See the picture here. There is a 물건 was 4만 원 before, and after 50% quality, and you got 2만 원 물건. 그래서 사람들이 think this shows the expensive first and later the cheap. The status quo theory. The status quo theory is not take any action to change the status quo. See the first picture here, the man is angry. This is the emotion, what we guys see him first. And the girl is smiling. So see the pictures below, the A friend is who are always saying good words to you at first when you guys meet first. Even they say so many bad words later, but the friends have a not good relationship with you guys. Will say so many bad words at first. So there is a so bad impression in your mind. Even they say so many good words later, you will not be so good friend with them. Okay, next, the confirming evidence theory. The confirming evidence theory to gather only information as one wishes or in one's favor. The first picture here, the old man look into the mirror. He thinks, I'm so young and I'm so handsome. And the second picture here, the man this way in orange, he thinks he's on the right side, and so as the woman. So this is the confirming evidence theory. The prospect theory. You can see the photo here. This is easily talk about the Hyundai Motors Astron program. So which did this program did was Hyundai Motors CO dot growing at a high rate of 47%. This means so many salarymen were worried about being fired. If they're being fired, this program will give them money to $7,500 when they losing their job in a year. The probability weighted function theory. Low probabilities are overestimated. See the picture here. A phenomenon avoided despite the very low rate of adverse effects to vaccines. A phenomenon avoided despite the very low rate, 0.0003% of the adverse effects to the vaccines. Let's move to the Nazi economics theory. Nazi economics theory increased the use of stairs of hills, making music play whenever it stepped on the stair of a subway station in Stockholm, Sweden, like a piano keyboard. As a result, the stair utilizing rate increased by 66% and the escalator. You can see the first step here. It writes on calories burned by taking the stairs. This means as the more stairs you take, the more calories you will burn. The backboard on the top of the trash can like a basketball. These are the images of the consumers for the Nike brand. There are 4 Nike brand rebounds behind the trash bins. So this will make people to push people. They want to drop the trash into the trash bin. Okay, next is the Chinese history. So the Chu dynasty during the warring period led by King James. Cars were strategic material converted to the war wagons during the war. So you can see the wagons here. The cars headed to order the cars headed to be raised. The king thought, raise the gateways of your palace and all the people's houses. There are some cases of the Nazi effects. The first one is the book of the Nazi effects. The second one, you can see this always in daily life in Korea. These gateways are printed into yellow, and to let people in cars to easily see there are so many students come through. The third one is the toilet with a fly painting. There are so many fly paintings in different toilets. Some others are different paintings, and this is push you to pee into the right way. Okay, the fourth. In Brazil, if you fasten your seatbelt, you can use Wi-Fi with a picture attached to a taxi. So the customers have a 150 belt. So when you fasten your belt, you will get your Wi-Fi. These 2 pictures was I took in China 1 year ago. The first one is panda in front of a big Chinese building. This panda sculpture to appeal so many customers and visitors all over the world to China. And the second one is a display the product differently, saying status attract people to come. The seventh, likely by item display in China department store standing, which means after shopping there are so many little things and at a very low price. They will make your money once more time. The number 8, in front of the convenience store counter next to the display of a variety of clothes. Look at here, like this model with the hat, sunglasses, t-shirts, pants, socks, even the shoes. You can buy all the things in this one store. Number 9. These two pictures are the examples of road applications. The first one, these lines draw as 30 meters, 20 meters, and 10 meters. This is used for cars to slow down their own speed. And the second one is the same reaction, but they use some obvious paintings on the road. Next, example of China, someone who wrote the history, which is Sagi. There is a story in Sagi which is 花溪游传. In Chinese it is 破纸列传. To become very rich, to know the human mind as follows. So there are 7 points I rotate here. First, we need to identify the needs of the other party. Second, contingency is needed. Do not go all the way to 100 miles to sell firewood. Third, determination is needed. Investing in one's children is the way of the world. Fourth, keep the logic of natural wealth. Bong Yun and Ji Yun speak. Fifth, share with your neighbors. Sixth, aim for a niche market. Seventh, win the hearts of the people you work with. I think the most important point is the seventh. These are 2 books here. The first one is the Sagi, written by Sama Chen. And the second one is the Hindong Kyongjeha, Behavioral Economics. The case in the eastern south of China, the history written by Sama Chen, Behavioral Economics to psychologically approach unreasonable human behavior. There are so many similarities in these 2 books, and I got so many benefits from these 2 books. I really recommend you guys to read them. Thanks for listening.
완벽하지는 않지만 그래도 짧은 시간 5일 동안 준비한 거예요. 네. 그래도 평가를 좀 한마디씩이라도 해주실 것 같습니다.
참 이 짧은 기간에 잘 작성했다는 생각이 들고, 그다음에 또 하나 이 시대적인 오늘의 시대 트렌드, 그러니까 코로나19 상황 속에서 적절한 주제가 선택되지 않았나 하는 생각이 드네요. 수고했습니다.
우리 말에 명장 밑에 약조는 없다고, 이 참 어려운 여건 속에서도 우리 이경범 박사님 지령을 발휘하셔서 논문의 내용이 상당히 좋은 것 같아요. 저도 그 행동경제학에 관한 책, 심리학과 연결된 책을 읽은 적이 있었는데 그 내용도 참 좋고, 그다음 우리 학생들 정말 용기 있게 조금도 떨지 않고 잘한 것 같아요. 고생 많았습니다.
그래서 이걸 보면서 뭐 영어로도 돼 있고 중국어로도 돼 있고 한글로 돼 있는 거 보면서 되게 대단하다는 생각을 했고, 그 저는 이제 육등이 다니니까 하기도 너무 잘했는데요. 그 학교에서는 제가 이제 수학 교사다 보니까 육등이가 어떤 발표하거나 이런 거를 바라보기 좀 어려운데 이런 모습 보니까 되게 색다른 모습도 많이 보이고, 제가 저 친구를 담임을 하고 있다는 게좀
우리 이경문 박사님이 학생들 지도를 여기서 많이 봤는데 처음에는 진짜 아무도 몰랐는데 그 불과 며칠 사이 이렇게 아주 너무 참 발전을 너무 많이 발표해서 참 잘했고, 또 이 시대에 지금 걸맞는 그런 주제 가지고 발표를 상당히 기뻤다고 생각합니다.
두 학생의 발표하는 거 보고 되게 대단하다, 칭찬할 만하다고 생각합니다. 정말 잘했습니다.
대단하다고 받기에는 주제도 사실 한글로 들어도 이렇게 쉬운 말이 아니, 우리말로 들어도 쉬운 말이 아닌데 이거를 중국 학생이 영어와 한국어를 써서 했다는 것 자체가 저는 뭐 그냥 존경스러울 것입니다. 이상입니다.
주어진 짧은 시간 내에 자기가 해낼 수 있는, 완벽하지 않더라도 노력하는 거, 그것을 보면서 학생들의 발전 가능성을 보는 것 같아요. 그래서 저는 정말 짧은 시간 내에 그래도 긍정적으로 따라와 주고 바꾼 대로, 그래서 자랑스럽습니다. 사실은 아까 잠깐 리허설 할 때도 애들이 이제 이렇게 얘기하는데 뭔가 해보려고 하고, 물론 뭐 많이 할 수는 없었지만, 그래서 그렇게 생각하고, 또 이렇게 준비해 주신 이 자리를 이렇게 준비해 주신 우리 협회나 많은 부모와 같은 사람들이 있다는 것을 학생들은 같이 알아주시면 좋겠습니다.